Hey guys, it's like 6 a.m. and honestly, this is my favorite time to get into the kitchen and get food ready for the rest of the day. So the house is quiet, everyone is sleeping, it's dark outside, but we're gonna go ahead and get started making our lunch today. So we're gonna be making a butternut squash chili recipe. This is my absolute favorite way to make chili, is to add a ton of pureed butternut squash in there, and it just makes this really sweet, really delicious chili. So I'm gonna whip up a batch of that. Jim is gonna whip up some sourdough. So we did our once a month batch sourdough session this weekend, and so he put the dough for sourdough bread in the refrigerator. We took it out last night so that he could make that this morning to go with our chili. So I'm gonna make some chili, he's gonna be making some sourdough, and this is just our favorite way to get things done. We don't always make things early in the morning, but if we can, it's just super helpful to then, once the kids get up, I can't talk. Once the kids get up, once we go out and do chores, lunch is already ready. We can go on with the rest of our day doing homeschool stuff, doing whatever other work we need to get done and not have to worry about lunch. So that's huge. And especially right now when it's like the Christmas season and we have a million other things going on too, getting meals ready to go early is huge. So let's make chili. I'm gonna link the entire recipe to this below so you can see exactly all the different measurements and things that I'm doing here. But first off, when you are cooking with garlic, so I add a few cloves of garlic to this recipe, 2 to 3 cloves is great, but when you are cooking with garlic, the most important thing is to do that first. So garlic has amazing health benefits, but in order to actually activate those health benefits, one, you need to cut your garlic. So if you're just throwing in whole cloves of garlic, that doesn't have the same nutritive effect as actually smashing your garlic or chopping your garlic. So one, you want to smash or chop your garlic, and two, you want to do that first. You want to cut your garlic, smash your garlic, and then you want to let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes while you're preparing the rest of your ingredients. And by doing this, it's going to activate the enzymes and the compounds that make the compound allicin, which is the active nutritive compound to give all of the health benefits that garlic is known for. So when you're cooking with garlic, chop it up and do that first and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes before you heat it. Because if you heat it before you let it sit, that compound doesn't have time to be activated, and so it just gets destroyed in the heating process. But by letting it sit, the compound has time to be activated, so then once you start cooking, you will get all that good stuff in there. So we're gonna start by chopping our garlic. After your garlic is chopped, you're gonna just add or prepare whatever other veggies you're using. So today I have a couple carrots, an onion, and then I think I'm gonna throw in some diced green peppers that I have in my freezer actually from our garden that are already pre-chopped. So we'll throw those in later when we get to the sauteing process. But I'm gonna go ahead and chop this onion up. This is our last onion from our garden, which feels kind of sad, but glad but sad because this is the first time we've actually grown onions, so it's really fun to get some big, beautiful onions, and I'm sad to see them now be all gone because we do a lot of cooking with garlic and onions. You can totally feel free to use whatever vegetables you want in this recipe. We just use whatever we have on hand, but pretty much anything can go well in there. Okay, so from here now that all of our vegetables are chopped, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to the oven, and we are going to saute these while we're browning our ground beef. And so for this recipe, all you need is your vegetables that you're gonna chop up, and then I just use tomato sauce. This is pureed squash or pumpkin, and we can show you, I have another video on how to do this, but you're just gonna roast your butternut squash and then puree them. It's super easy. And then beans, so you can add canned beans, dried beans, whatever. I had these beans soaking overnight. This was just over 1 cup of beans that I soaked all night, and now we'll just add in the soaked beans to our pot. Well, I mean, I drained the water, but the dried soaked beans into our pot, and so that they'll be ready by the time the chili is ready. So we're gonna saute these vegetables and then basically just dump everything else in together, and then you're gonna cook it. So I like to do this in our Dutch oven. The beauty of our oven, the Aga, is it actually has a slow cooking oven compartment, so I can just then take the sauteed everything, vegetables, and then add everything else to it, and I can just slow cook it right there in our Dutch oven. But if you don't have a Aga or that kind of oven, you could also do this in the slow cooker, like a crock pot. So you could do it on high for 4 to 6 hours, or for low for 6 to 8 hours, or you could just let it simmer on your stovetop for several hours, and that would be delicious too. So there are lots of options here to slow cook your chili. Okay, so now all of our vegetables and our ground beef are sauteed, so we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of the ingredients and get this all cooking together. So we're gonna add in our dried soaked beans, and I just use, these are like a pinto style bean because that's just what we grew and have the most of, but black beans, kidney beans, whatever beans you have are great. And then we're gonna add our tomato sauce. So you totally could add like diced chopped tomatoes to this. We just canned a ton of tomato sauce, and so that's what we have. We just like it that way. But if you want to add some diced chopped tomatoes, that would be great too. It would add some liquid to your chili to make it a little bit of a thinner chili. This version is gonna make a really thick chili because I don't generally add any extra liquid to it, but if you like a thinner, more liquidy chili, you can either add more liquidy vegetables or even some broth to it to kind of thin it out. And then I'm going to add the, so this is your pureed butternut squash or pumpkin. You could also use just canned pumpkin for this if you want. But this adds a really great thickness and texture, but also just sweetness. And it's really, really, really yummy mixed in your chili. So again, for all of the exact measurements on what I'm doing, check out the blog post below that will say, but this is the gist of it. And then you're gonna add your spices. So again, check out the blog post for the exact amount, and you can always scale up or scale down with your chili powder depending on how hot you like it and whether you want to use cayenne pepper or not. We like it pretty mild.
Roll up your sleeves, everybody. Mine could only go up with yours. So tonight, what Roger with me, okay? It will be okay. 1 in a teensy minute.
Alright, so our chili is done here. It is ready to go in the slow cooker. It's going to cook all morning and we will have lunch ready. So I'm telling you, if you are struggling with getting meals on the table, homemade from scratch meals, this is like my #1 tip or hack, is to get them ready in advance so that mealtime is super easy. You have everything ready to go and you can just pull it out and eat it and not have to worry about that last minute scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. I realize it's not for everyone, but if that's motivating at all to you, I highly encourage you to give it a try. It's been a game changer for us. So that's it. Stick this in the slow cooker, head out, do chores, go milk our cow. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.